Hello and welcome to the Devious Silvertail for the first in what's going to be a series of the game, but also a series of serieses. That makes no sense. This is something I've been considering doing for the channel for a while. Looking to games which carry a certain, how do you say, nostalgic significance to other people, which I never played. In other words, blind playthroughs of old games that, well, old-ish. Whatever. Old enough that people feel nostalgic about them. Anyway, so I picked up this game, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, the Trilogy, for two reasons. Two reasons why I picked this one to be the first. First of all, because I saw it referenced in Henry Stickmin, and I absolutely freaking love that game, and I've watched like 5 different people play that now, so I've got every game that it's ever referenced on the brain, and bought 5 or 6 of them. Yay for Black Friday. But of course, it also seemed fitting to play a game about a courtroom, considering that world events lately have really given new meaning to the word trumped-up charges. Anyway, let us get in and play this game, which, again, play this game. I swear I didn't know I was going to do that. Play this game. Well, that guy's got a very creepy face. Yeah, okay. Yes. Cool. Ooh, an achievement for doing nothing. Creepy. Damn it! Why me? I can't get caught. Not like this. I've got to find someone to pin this on. Someone like him. I'll make it look like he did it. Please expect absolutely no, what's the word? Consistency in the voices. Because I'm not good at voices at all. But I'm going to try and read everything out here. Phoenix. Why am I nervous? Oh god, that's a female voice, isn't it? I can't do this. I'm not even going to try. Wonder what it's going to do. Right? What should she sound like? Good grief. Oh, hiya, Chief. Phew. I'm glad I made it on time. Well, I have to say, Phoenix, I'm impressed. Not everyone takes on the murder trial right off the bat like this. Great. Murder. That's... yeah, that's not normally allowed to, like, first-timers. Woohoo! It says a lot about you, and your client as well. Oh, right. You're a defense attorney. I know that much. Thanks. Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. A favor? You mean the defendant before this case? Yes, you see, as a defense attorney, it doesn't matter if I already know them. I can be as biased as I like. Yes. Actually, I kind of owe my current job to him. You know, because, let's not get into that too much, because that'll make it sound like he did kill people to get me lots of work. That'd be bad. It's one of the reasons I became an attorney. Oh, good grief, that sounds even worse. Well, that's news to me. I want to help him out any way I can. I just really want to help him, I owe him that much. It's over! My life, everything, it's all over! Is that your client screaming over there? Yeah, it's him. This is sounding worse by the minute. Death, despair, oh! I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna die! Sounds like he wants to die. Yeah. Sorry. Nick! Hey there, Larry. Dude, I'm so guilty. Tell him I'm guilty. Oh, I thought he was wearing handcuffs for a minute there, where it was just black shirt. Give me the distance. I ain't afraid to die. What? What's wrong, Larry? Oh, right. Charged with murder and in court for it. That's probably what's wrong. Oh, it's all over. I'm finished. I can't live in a world without her. I can't. Who took away from me, Nick? Who did this? I mean, you apparently. Oh, Nick, you gotta tell me. Who took my baby away? Person responsible for your girlfriend's death? Newspapers say it was you. That's our first clue. The newspapers never get it wrong. My name is Phoenix Wright. Really cool name, by the way. Here's the story. My first case is a fairly simple one. You know, for a murder. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her. Larry Butts. My best friend since grade school. Yeah, he's screaming innocent there. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually the butts. Right. I'm getting a better idea of this game now. In the 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. Just that freaking face. It's like I'm playing an anime. He has a knack for getting himself in trouble. One thing I can say, though, is usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. But I know better than anyone. He's a good guy at heart. That, and I own one, which is why I took the case, to clear his name. And that's just what I'm going to do. Let's hope he's actually innocent, then. Never know what to think with defense attorneys, because it's a funny thing, isn't it? Defending someone who, the majority of the time, is probably guilty. I mean, generally, people don't get put into court based on nothing. Ooh, he looks very... Yeah, I feel like he's reminding me of something. Anyway. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, this is your first trial, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. I'm a little nervous. Don't admit that in court, dude. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. Murder is a serious charge. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, you're being remarkably, considerate, all things considered. This is a very serious charge. Mr. Wright, given the circumstances, I think we should have a test to discern your readiness. Yes, Your Honor. This seems a bit unorthodox. Oh, boy. Hands shaking, eyesight fading. Dude, if you're going to be an ace attorney, you have got to get a better poker face than that. The test will consist of a few simple questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please state the name of the defendant in this case. How do I control this? Oh, there we go. I have to try it. The defendant is me, right? Right, you're fine. This person on trial. But I feel like I'm on trial, boss. You're his lawyer. Oh yeah, right. This is no laughing matter. You did pass the bar, didn't you? Sorry, I couldn't hear your answer. Part of me wants to try all of them. I want to treat this seriously, though. We're in a court for murder, right? Sorry. Defendant? That's Larry Butts, Your Honor. Correct. I mean, to be fair, if I didn't know that, I mean, this doesn't seem like a test of my lawyer capability. This seems like a test of my basic sanity. Just maybe that point. Just keep your wits about you and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. Tell me, what is the victim's name? I don't think we've been told that, have we? I know this one. You've got it, Phoenix. Glad I read over the case report to cover so many times. It's... Wait. Oh, no way. I forgot. I'm drawing a total blank here. Phoenix, are you absolutely sure you're up to this? I don't know. I'm just having a mental breakdown. He's not even the one on trial. You don't even know the victim's name? Oh, the victim, of course. I know the victim's name. I just forgot. Temporarily. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the victim's name is listed in the court record. Just press tab. Check at any time. What does that mean, boss? What does pressing tab mean? Do you mean pick it up off the table? Remember to check it off and do it for me, please. I'm begging you. Okay. Tab. Where's that button? I don't believe I was a defense attorney and didn't carry this. Fun. Cindy is a possible import. Do I... Well, I know the name's Cindy. So... Okay. It has to be Cindy then. You know what? I've changed my mind. I definitely will say 100% the victim here is my boss. What? How can I be the victim? I mean, you are standing here with your protege making a fool of himself in front of a judge. I'd say you're the victim here. Oh, right. Sorry. It was the first thing that popped into my head. The court record, right? Remember to use it when you're in a pinch with tab. Yes, that one again. You're being very polite and waiting for me to finish my nervous breakdown. Cinderblock. I'm guessing Cindy Stone since it's Cindy. The victim's name is Cindy Stone. Correct. Thank you for making, the most basic of answers. Now tell me, what was the cause of death? It was blunt force trauma. Blunt object. She was struck once by a blunt object. Correct. You have understood the most basic aspects of the case. One person is being charged, one person has been killed, and they were struck by something. Good. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. I can see several reasons why we shouldn't proceed. But let's just get on with it then. You seem much more relaxed, Mr. Wright. Good for you. Thank you, Your Honor. Because I don't feel relaxed, that's for sure. Oh, dude, your friend is doomed. Well then. First, a question for the prosecution. Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court just what that object was? The murder weapon was this statue of the Thinker. Ah, so it is. It was found lying on the floor next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. I mean, I should think so. I would love to see forensics on this. Right? Don't make any stupid answers now. Be sure to pay attention to any evidence added during the trial. That evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. I mean, we're a defense attorney. Evidence isn't really something we necessarily need. It's more the lack of it we exploit. Use tab to check the court record frequently. And don't call me the victim again. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its first witness. The prosecution calls the defendant, Mr. Butts, to the stand. Chief, what do I do now? Pay attention. You don't want to miss any information that might help your client's case. You'll get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. Oh, Larry gets excited easily. This could be bad. I mean, if he does his wounded puppy dog expression enough, then he might just get off on that. Oh, he looks a lot better. Ahem. Mr. Butts, is it not true that the victim had recently dumped you? Oh, ouch. Hey, bullshit, buddy. We were great together. We were Romeo and Juliet. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Didn't they all die? I don't know if the story was with Cleopatra and Mark Antony, but certainly Romeo and Juliet is not a very romantic thing to compare yourself to. I wasn't dumped. She just wasn't taking my phone calls or seeing me, ever. What's it to you anyway? Mr. Butts, what you describe as generally what you mean by dumped. Kind of like this guy. In fact, she had completely abandoned you, and was seeing other men. She had just returned from overseas with one of them, the day before. What do you mean, one of them? Lies! All it lies! I don't believe a word of it! Your Honor, the victim's passport. According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. Arrived in Paris at 7:30, the day before the murder. What's the date today in this game? Indeed. She appears to have returned the day before the murder. Dude, no way. The victim was a model, but she did not have a large income. It appears she had several sugar daddies. Oh boy. Daddies? Sugar? Yes, older men who gave her money and gifts. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude. We can clearly see what kind of woman this Miss Stone was. To be fair, sugar daddies that are just basically, I guess, showing her off and giving her gifts in turn, does that really count as seeing other men? It's kind of in the same way that, well, yeah, not to sort of get seedy, but it's like, it's in the same way that like is a prostitute dating her clients. Obviously this isn't the same thing, but it's the same concept of relationship-wise. It's being done for a profit. It's not really an emotional attachment. Anyway, tell me, Mr. Butts, what do you think for now? Right? I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he might just break down emotionally and be like the boyfriend who is just distraught and surprised, which might help our case. But on the other hand, Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions, clearly. You know what, I'm gonna trust my boss's instincts on this. My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is irrelevant to this case. Is it? I mean, I suppose, because if you're trying to look for, like, motive and he didn't know it at the time, then it can't have been motive when the murder was... You know, giving him motive now isn't the same as him having motive then. So I guess that's fair. Oh well, at least we're not the only lawyer without a good poker face. Dude, Nick, what do you mean irrelevant? That cheating she-dog! I'm gonna die! I just wanted her dead. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's continue with the trial, shall we? Yeah, let's. I believe the accused motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. Again, motive. Having a motive now isn't the same as having a motive then. In theory, the same motive could apply, but if he legitimately didn't know the information, then it's not really a motive anymore, is it? You can't have a motive of revenge if you don't know that someone has done something to you. Oh boy, this is not looking good. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Okay. Well, did you or did you not? Well, maybe I did and maybe I didn't. He went. What do I do? Well, if he's innocent, I feel that everyone has to answer honestly in a courtroom. That's kind of the point. I know. I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. Yeah, I was there. I went. Look, they can probably prove that. So having him lie, well, or just having him not speak would look worse, I think. Would to me, anyway. Order! Well, Mr. Butts. Dude, chill. She wasn't home, man. So, I didn't see her. Oh, that's fine. Your Honor, the defendant is lying. Lying? He looks so shocked. Come on, dude. This is not the first time you've had someone lying in your courtroom. The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying. Witness testimony is the most flimsy thing allowed in a courtroom. Well, that simplifies matters. Who's your witness? The man who found the victim's body. Just before making the gruesome discovery, he saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Please bring Mr. Frank Sod to the stand. I really imagined it with their names. Oh, it's him! That makes sense. Mr. Sod, you sell newspaper subscriptions, is this correct? Oh, yes. Newspapers, yes. Mr. Sod, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Well, we know he's lying. Oh, so we're actually listening to him. Yeah, I was going to go to the door. Saying some script. What the hell was I doing with this guy again? I was going to the door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing the apartment. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. I think he's strange. I looked inside the apartment, and I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, the dead. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately, however the phone in her apartment wasn't working. But you didn't go in, right? I mean, I suppose if it's right there, you could maybe see, but does that count as not going inside? I feel like there's a hole right there. Anyway, I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. The man who ran was, without a doubt, the defendant sitting right over there. Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against a testimony like that. Well, there's already one thing that's potentially a hole in it. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. But how would he know that the phone wasn't working? How would he even know there was a blackout in the building if he was selling newspapers outside? Surely he would have gone in, touched the phone to check, if that was his thought. But he also said he didn't go in. So, aren't the phones supposed to work during a blackout? That's true, they work here. Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally. See, that's another reason. Why would he, even if he knew about a blackout, how would he know the phone wasn't working until he picked it up and saw that it wasn't working? You would assume it was working, because that's what's normal. there's already a bit of a hole in his story, which I hope we can actually point to. The phone Mr. Sawyer used was one of those. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. Electricity system in the building was out from noon to 6. Okay, that's going to be important. Now, Mr. Wright. Yes, yes, Your Honor. You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination? Your Honor? Of course. All right. This is it. The real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Please, fill us in. Why? You exposed the lies in the testimony the witness just gave. Oh, right, those lies. Lies? What? He was lying? Of course he was. Your client's innocent, right? The witness must have lied in his testimony. I mean, I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Or is your client really guilty? How will I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness testimony. Then, once you find the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. That's fair. Except again, the witness testimony is so fallible. I mean, I remember when I was studying forensics way back then, there was this fantastic example where they had a whole bunch of people in a single room and they had someone pretend to rob the place and then got testimony from all of them. And the amount of differences between them was shocking. They were all sitting in the same room at the same time, with the same guy coming in to rob the same place, and while there were similarities, there was a lot of differences between what they said happened and what they said they were wearing, what they looked like, etc., etc. It's literally just the worst thing that they allow in a courtroom, but it's hard to turn down that someone says they saw it. But then the human eye is not the perfect recording tool, nor the brain to interpret it. Anyway, open the court record tab and point out contradictions in the testimony. Oh. So I guess we go through it piece by piece and look for contradictions in what he's saying. Going to go door to door, sounds descriptions wise. So I'm not going to do the voice thing when I'm going through this bit because I'm actually trying to think about it. I was going door to door, selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. Okay, can't really argue with that. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Well, we can't really contest that, so let's see how we could contest that. Thinking it's strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, the woman not moving, dead. Quailed with fright and found myself unable to go inside. Right. Got to call the police immediately. Well, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. So, can I call him out on this? See, this agrees with him, but the problem was he says he didn't go in. He says he didn't go in, so how can I call him out on that? This one. This one seems so surprised. Yeah, that's telling that the phone wasn't working. It just says it wasn't working. But it's on the... maybe there's something else? Let's actually look at this stuff. The electricity was out from noon to 6. Came home from Paris before the murder. A heavy statue. Time of death, 4:05. That's a very precise time, actually. Didn't he say something about when? Yeah, public phone, 1 p.m. Right, that has to be it, that has to be it, that has to be it. Yeah. Go. Objection! You found the body at 1 p.m.? You're sure? Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at sometime after 4 p.m. There was nobody no body to find. How to explain this 3-hour gap? He doesn't have a very good poker face either. Oh, that. This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time. After his testimony, I find it hard to believe. Mr. Sort, why are you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? It is true. It's fair to say he could have just forgotten the time, but he was very firm on when. Well, gee, that's a really good question. Oh dear. What else does he need to say? Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. That also is true. Generally when you poke a hole in someone's story, they then try and patch it up. And it's like if you try and patch anything with more patches, it just becomes an absolute mess. The carefully constructed patch is a lot better than the patches they have to come up with in 2 seconds. See through one, and their whole story falls apart. Wait, I remember now. Do you care to give your testimony again? Time discovery. Okay. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a taped program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. I'm terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. See? That one's obvious. I see. You heard the voice saying at the time in a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Come on, Mr. Judge. I'm here on my first day. You've got to see it. Right. You know what to do. I've got this one. Oh yeah, I see this one. This one's easy, right? Because the television is not like the phone. It does run on electricity. See, we found the body. I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Yeah, that is not going to happen. Because we have been told that there was a blackout. Hold it right there. The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery. And this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video. Oh god, that reminds me of something for some reason. Oh, it's completely out of my head. Yeah, Defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Sword? Because now he said he heard the time. And that you can't just back away from that, can you? You physically heard the time. That's an elaboration. That's an elaboration to say, oh, I was so certain of the time because I heard it being stated. It's like, you can't just back out of that one, but what could have said it? Either another person or something electronic, right? No, I find it quite puzzling myself, quite. Wait, I remember now. Mr. Sort, the court would prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the very beginning. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. That they are. That, and you seem rather distraught. my apologies, Your Honor. It must have been the shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Sword. I just feel like this guy's buying none of it. Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Okay, what's he saying this time? Actually, I didn't hear the time I saw it. Yeah, you can't back out of hearing, man. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. Okay, now you've apparently seen a table clock inside the apartment, which you never entered. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say the judge's thing. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. If you missed it, he was saying that made sense. Seeing a clock would make sense. Gladly. But yeah, this is... I still don't have a piece of... I still don't have something which I can... I still don't have something which I can say he entered the apartment on, right? Actually, I didn't hear the time I saw it. There was a table clock and the apartment wasn't there. Yeah, the murder weapon. Wait a minute. I still don't have something that I can throw in his face that says he wasn't in the apartment. But this was the murder weapon, right? I mean, we know this is the murder weapon. We saw it in the cutscene. So why is he saying he was killed with a clock? This is garbage, right? Also, why would he have known the murder weapon if he didn't go in and have a look? So I guess that's a way of saying you said you were never in there. Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock. It was this statue. Now how is this supposed to be a clock? What? You with your objections and your evidence? Just who do you think you are? The defense attorney. Just answer the question, Mr. Sword. Hey, I saw it here, okay? That's a clock. Your Honor, if I may. Yes, Mr. Payne. As the witness stated, the statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it, and it says the time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted this as a statue on conscience. I see. So the murder weapon was a table clock after all. But hold on, he just said that he didn't hear the time, he saw it. On a clock. A clock that doesn't have a clock face, but rather says the time when you pull its head or something, right? So that's a contradiction in of itself. It appears that witness testimony was correct. It's a clock. Do you have any problems with this testimony now? Yeah. Your Honor, there's a gaping hole in the witness's testimony. Yeah, there is. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet the witness testified he never entered the apartment. There we go. Clearly a contradiction. I mean, you're sort of overlooking the fact that it's a clock that speaks, which for it to have spoken, for him to have heard that he had to have been holding it to press the button. So he needed to have his hands on the murder weapon at the time of the murder. That's a pretty solid one. Indeed. Witness knew it was a clock because he... went into the apartment. You just said that. You're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Yeah, prove it. Prove I went in there. You've already proven it yourself, dude. I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one who killed her. You struck her with the clock. The shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. Yeah, I suppose that could happen. That was the sound you heard. It's getting spicy. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Please letting us go on with this. Yes, Your Honor. I like that we're the defense attorney, but we've gone full prosecution now. Even if a witness has committed the crime, they are not on trial. Except in this courtroom, apparently. Mr. Sword. The sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke just as you hit the victim. Oh yeah, it was hit with the head, right? A voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time. What's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture. Baseless? I mean, I damn well say not. He has to have been in there. He has to have touched the thing. Admittedly, suggesting that he smashed it, that he heard it because he smashed him over the head with it. But I mean, certainly his testimony is completely shocked because there's a massive gaping hole in it, right? Just look at the witness's face. Yeah. Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with the clock? This is ridiculous now. That day, I never... Look, the clock, I don't know. I I mean, I saw... Ah! Shut up, shut up, shut up! I hate you. It was him, I tell you. I saw him. He killed her, and he should burn. Burn. Give him death. He's completely gotten a nervous breakdown. Order. Order in the court, I say. I love that this guy is just completely calm through all of this nonsense. Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defender's claims. I mean, I don't know, we've been quoting evidence quite well. Admittedly, it is a suggestion for like to... It is conjecture to sort of say, you killed them, because there's no solid evidence of that. There's definitely evidence that you were in the apartment on the day of the murder, seemingly. But, that doesn't mean you killed them. You claim the sound that was heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? Well, his own testimony. Right, can I throw his own case? Can I throw his own testimony back in? Your Honor, the sound Mr. Sword heard was definitely this clock. The fact which is clear if you simply... Oh, what's this? Oh, is this like a... What is this thing up here? Because it goes down. So is this like a... Is this... Because so far, I mean, I did some stupid things. And one thing which I was wondering about this game, because I was told a little bit about the general idea that you're an attorney. And that there's some stupid things you can say. People like to tell me the stupid things you can say. Maybe that's like a stupidity meter. Right, anyway. That's clear if you simply... What would the batteries tell me? What would the neighbours tell me? The clock needs to be 3 hours slow, right? Let's sound the clock now. Here in this court. Your Honor, may I have the clock? I ask the court to listen very carefully. Beep. I think it's 8:25. Certainly is a strange way to announce the time. Well, he is the thinker, after all. I suppose he's the thinker, not the art. So we heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now? It's 11:25. As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Sword heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sword, try to talk your way out of this one. I mean, that's pretty, you know... He says he heard that clock say the time, at a time when the murder could have been. It seems that answers his time discrepancy pretty well. I mean, all of this is sufficient evidence, you would think, to get this case thrown out of court and for investigation to resume, possibly into this guy. All I have to do as a defense attorney is throw reasonable doubt on the accusations against my client, which I think we have now, but apparently we're still going. You forgot one thing. What's he doing right now? While it may seem like the clock is running 3 hours slow, that proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? That's true, but it'll have been taken into evidence on the day of the murder, so no one will have tampered with it. If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. I mean, I'm not a prosecutor against you, dude. I'm the defense attorney. I just need to cast doubt, and I've done that pretty well. He's right. How am I going to prove that? Yeah, I mean, that is one of the things which is impossible to prove, but that's exactly the sort of thing that the defense attorney would be doing. The prosecutor is the sort of person who'd be saying, you know, this all fits together pretty nicely. The defense would be there to say, but how can you know this? How can you know that? That's impossible to know this. It's impossible to know that. Mr. Wright, it seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. I mean, I've still cast a lot of doubt, though. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the witness. I mean, you're allowed to do that anyway. Unfortunately. This ends the cross-examination of Mr. Frank Sword. I come all the way here to testify, and look what happens. I tear off my own wig, I go into a complete mental breakdown, all because this stupid defense attorney has noticed that I'm a liar. You treat me like a criminal. A criminal! I mean, sure, I killed that woman, but a criminal! You lawyers are all slime. I mean, in this case, we're on point, though. Ah, I almost had him. Sorry, Larry. I failed you. I mean, I don't know about that. Again, I'm a defense attorney. It's not my place to catch the killer. It's my place to cast reasonable doubt. And the only evidence that they had, really, was a witness saying that you'd fled the scene of the crime, and that witness has now been completely discredited. They have no evidence against you anymore. There's nothing I can do about it now. I mean, he's probably going to go... Oh. Not so fast, Mrs. Sawyer. Yeah. I mean, you'd hope that she'd be good at this. She is our boss, right? Yeah. I mean, Chief. Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. But Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow on the day of the murder. No one can prove that. Well, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't still win. You're thinking out of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow, and think through it. Ask yourself, why was the clock 3 hours slow? Okay, that's a fair point. That's like corroborating evidence. It's a bit flimsy, but it would add support to a claim. Figure out the reason and you'll have your proof. Right? Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Why would your clock be 3 hours slow? The first thing that springs to mind would be its batteries running down, but if its batteries were running down, that would also add to the idea that it could have slowed itself down while we were waiting, although the chance of it slowing down by exactly 3 hours. No, I'm actually stumped. How am I supposed to know that? I know you can figure it out. There must be some evidence in the court record. Something that can show why the clock was 3 hours slow. Find it, and he won't have a foot to stand on. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. Do you have evidence to prove this? This is it. All or nothing. Yes, Your Honor. I believe I have the evidence that can prove my claim. I'd like to see that. Let's see this evidence that proves why the clock was running slow. So this is the key point. Well, it's not that. The blackout record doesn't tell me anything. Arrived in Paris on the day before the murder. What presented that? And an autopsy report. Okay. Why is it running 3 hours slow? Because of blackouts, it's on batteries. That's irrelevant. My badge is irrelevant. When she died is irrelevant? Yeah, I mean, if anything, being bashed on the head could have broken the clock. So that wouldn't necessarily have done anything prior to that. I don't think the clock itself can explain it. We're trying to explain the clock. The only thing left is the passport. That's the only piece of evidence we haven't used yet, so I'm guessing that's to be the passport. Now we arrived home from Paris on 7:30, the day before the murder. Time zones? Has to be the right? The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. Is it? I didn't know that. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. Oh. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. I guess, but good grief, if you're traveling, you don't take a heavy desk table clock. You take a watch, or failing that, a light clock. I mean, that thing's a freaking statue. Why on earth would you take that through the airport? Would they even let it? Well, I suppose it was not in your hand on you. That's a bit of a stretch. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment. Proof enough for you, Mr. Saw It? Or should I say, Mr. Did It? I mean, I suppose that might be enough to throw it, but that's not very strong to me. Yeah. Okay, he collapses from your mouth. Order, I say. Well, Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Yeah, I'd say differently is, that's accurate. Mr. Payne, your witness. He was arrested and taken away, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? I have to say I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete the defense so quickly. And find the true culprit at the same time. Yeah, that's not really in our job remit. I guess I'm just going above and beyond. That's why I'm the ace attorney. I'm both prosecutor and defense in one package. Apparently. Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, this is only formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts. Not guilty. Huzzah. That could have gone worse. So, these people on the sidelines aren't a jury, I guess, because the judge is making all the calls. But I would have thought, I mean, I don't know how things work in America's court system, but I would generally assume that a serious crime like a murder normally gets put before a jury. It's normally like smaller matters that just get dealt with by a single judge, or at least that's how it would work here. Anyway, and with that, court is adjourned. It turns out that Frank saw it was a common burglar. Okay. Oh, this is nice. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, Larry went to her apartment. The victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Sawyer let himself in to do his dirty work. He did leave the door partially open, though. That's pretty bad, actually. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sawyer grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find. That's sad. That's sad. Ooh, I still can't believe we won. I mean, that was more than just winning. That was interesting. Right, good job in there. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. Yeah, that's probably about right. Not at all, not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've seen a trial end on such a satisfying note. This has happened before, has it? I've never seen the Chief looking this happy. If she's this glad, imagine how Larry must feel. Oh, this is going to be interesting. My life is over. Larry, you're supposed to be happy. What's wrong now? Are you being charged with something else? Is it just going to be defending this guy for the entire game? Oh, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good. Wait, no, I mean, bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. But my Cindy Wendy's gone, man. Gone forever. Larry, she was a... Never mind. Congratulations, Harry. Okay. Harry? Ah, so it's intended to be a mistype. Yes, you. I can practically see the headlines now. Harry Butts, innocent. Ah, I see. Thanks. I really owe you one. I won't forget this ever. Let's celebrate. Dinner, movie, my treat. Oh no, I couldn't. That's a really elegant put down. Hey, I was the one who got you off the hook. Oh hey. Here, take this. Here's a present. A present for me? Did they give it get him back? Wait, wasn't this the evidence that... Actually, I made this clock for her. I made one for her and one for me. And giving this to another woman isn't creepy at all. Really, you made this? Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento. Yo, Nick. She seems to have such a different demeanor now. Can you believe it? I'm so into that chick. She was just playing me for a fool. Don't make you want to cry. Harry, you're confusing now. Are you so sure? Excuse me. I think she's thought quite a lot of you in her own way. You don't want to sympathize with me. It's okay. Oh, I'm not just sympathizing, really. Isn't that right? Right? Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about it? Huh? Oh, yeah, right. What the heck is she talking about? Something that proves she cared about it. I mean, I guess it's the statue, because she took this ridiculously heavy thing on holiday with her, right? You don't do that unless it's meaningful, right? A memento of him, I suppose. But, is this going to make him feel better? Because here I am about to say, you know, the precious gift you gave her was used to bludgeon her to death. If you had never given her that gift, perhaps he would have smacked her with something lighter, and she wouldn't have died. It's like, I guess this is what it wants me to go for? Please don't have a nervous breakdown? Take that! Check this out, Harry. Proof positive you weren't just some chump to her. Huh? What about that clock? This is the clock you made for her, Larry. And she took it with her when she traveled, despite how ridiculously large and heavy it is. Whatever, she probably just needed a clock, that's all. Oh no, she could have gotten a much better clock for travel. Yeah, see? That's exactly what I said. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. Why on earth would you take this thing? Well, make of it what you will. Just try not to think about the fact that someone murdered her with it. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Really, I am. Thanks. I hope that made him feel a little better. And again, that he doesn't think about the fact that it was used to murder her. That would probably make him very depressed. Right? I hope you see the importance of evidence now. Also, hopefully you realize things change depending on how you look at them. People, too. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself. Right? Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Never. It is an interesting stance, the defense attorney, because on the one hand, someone who's trying to protect someone who's being charged with a crime, certainly the worst thing that I can imagine is someone being convicted of a crime that they never committed. That's terrible, which is why we need defense, and they need to be competent. But admittedly, I don't know. I feel like I've seen too many cases where the defense seem more interested in getting their client off because it's their client, rather than because they're innocent. It's a tricky thing, you know, because at the end of the day, if a crime's been committed, someone's done it, and whoever is brought to court is the one who seemingly the majority of the evidence points to. Often if these people are found innocent, then there's nowhere else to turn. It's like there's no one else who seems like they could have done it. The crime's never solved. Which of course is one reason why, you know, this bias is towards just wanting to prosecute, because the idea of the crime just never having resolution is more scary to some people than the idea that they might potentially have gotten it wrong. Although for me it's the other way around. I don't know, I'd rather not convict someone who's innocent than push so hard for someone who's guilty that, well, it's it's tricky. It's going to be an interesting game from that sort of perspective. But I should probably focus on the game and not the philosophy of attorneys. Anyway, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yeah, I guess so. Say, how about dinner? On me? We'll drink a toast to innocent butts. Okay. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Harry... Larry, you were saying part of why you became a lawyer was because of him? Yeah, part at least. You'll have to tell me more about it sometime. Maybe over drinks? I'm being hit on by my boss. And so, my first trial came to a close. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay us, unless you count the clock you gave me." Okay then. Fortunately, it's a video game, so I don't need payment. The experience points will be enough. Except there's no experience points. But hey, I didn't know it then. But that clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. Oh? And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. Oh god. Well, that's one way to give you a hook for the next episode. Brand new episode has been added. Yeah, let's save. See? Never played it before. I think, the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to do one episode a... Oh god. Right, I'm not going into this. I assume since I've saved it, if I just cancel out, then the game just won't keep going. Yeah. We'll pick this up next time, because it made sense to me when I heard that it was broken up by cases, to do it one case at a time. So, case 1, episode 1, etc. You get the idea. It's not even remotely complicated. But I hope you enjoyed. This game is funny. I can see why it was iconic to people, because it's also clever. I like. It reminds me of Columbo. You know, it was like one of the few detective-y things that I really liked back in the day. I mean, these days your modern ones are just they're more. I don't know. They're more like what's the term? Dramas than anything else. It's more focused on the relationship between the characters than the meat of the crimes. So sometimes some of the crimes aren't even at all inventive. They're just a really boring crime with lots of people just having a drama about themselves. Like, do one or the other, you know? I loved Columbo, and the thing I liked about Columbo was that you always knew who did it. So you never had to think, you know, are they right or not? Which I think I kind of like about this. Because, well, I assume it's going to keep doing that, mind you. Did it the first time. I don't know why they wouldn't keep the formula. But I guess that's why it reminds me of it, you know? Because it was... In those, it was more, yeah, well, what did they slip up? Because that was always the cornerstone of the idea of forensics, for example. That every contact leaves a trace. That, you know, if someone has murdered someone else, then they were there at that time killing them. They weren't anywhere else. That's a fact. You may not know when you go into a courtroom what happened, but there is only one thing that did happen, because reality only works that way. You know, it's not Schrodinger's accused, you know. It doesn't change what happened based on what people say. One thing happened. If someone did it, then they did it. If they didn't, then they didn't. And if they did, then that means they had to have been there. Which means that there has to be something to find. They have to have done something wrong. They can't have accounted for every variable, because humans just can't do that. There's far too much chaos and randomness in the world to account for every variable. Just have to find it. But I'm not going to ramble on about that for too long. I'll be trying to do these weekly and chip my way through this series, because it seems like it's going to be fun, and that one was just a tutorial. They're going to get more fun, I assume. I'm very curious if they're actually going to get difficult. Yeah, I mean, it looked like there were some really funny options you could choose. And I was tempted to go for some of them, but I just, well, I don't want to lose. I don't want to fail. I suppose I could fail and try the whole thing over again, but this already has been a long video. And again, this was the tutorial, which is normally shorter than everything else. Anyway, we will see. We will see. For now, I'm going to have to call this episode here because I've been doing it for too long. So, hope you enjoyed. This was Silvertail. Be sure to come back if you like what you see. Remember to always pack a plan D, because here there be dragons.